Yo, 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 yo! Hello, lovely internet folk. So I'm doing a Teal Refraction today, the first Teal Refraction and the first of my Refraction series, which I have not done an introduction for yet, but I will. By yours truly. Now, last week Teal made for us a video on psychic vampires. So this is it blew up pretty quick. It's a pretty serious topic. A lot of people, would like to hear about it, it seems like. And I've been sort of churning the idea of psychic vampires and her video in the back of my head for many days now, and I feel like I would like to expand, refract, build upon the foundation that Teal has so graciously given us. So, I have a different sort of diagram than Teal. I'll link her video in my description thingy as well. But anyways, the diagram that she drew went something like this, where there was the source, and the source gives energy to the person. And it is impossible for anybody else to interfere with this source. Impossible. And the only person that can interfere with the source that you feed off of is you. So, and the only real flaw is not recognizing your connection to the source. I suppose, in my opinion, first of all, source would also come from this direction as well, and all the other directions. But that aside, I would actually only disagree because you can definitely change how someone else feels and thinks, just through experience, at least. Now, on a transcendent level, Teal is definitely more accurate, because everything is in a state of perfect balance, and it is always a balancing process that we're going through to be more balanced, more refined, more pristine, more perfect than we were a moment ago. Perfection is the only true reality, in my opinion. But anyways, so my diagram that I'm going to do is sort of inspired by the atomic elements. So in an atomic shell, there's many layers of electrons in some cases, and they say that the most stable is when an atom has 8 electrons. Four, 5, 6, 7, 8. So, imagine these are all topics, things going on in your life. Say that this is tomorrow. I don't know if I spelled that wrong, but whatever. This is yesterday. This is money. This is love. This is social life. This is some project you're working on. That's right, project. Say this is family. Say this is some random thing that you're dealing with. Okay, so you have a lot of things going on here. There's a lot of things going on at any one point in time, and it may become overwhelming to be going through so many different things all at one time. So, with that said, you may find that these things grow to be too large for comfort. These things, and you have to vent them out. Like they say, you can't only take in breath. You have to eventually take an out breath in order to continue the process, the experience of existence. So, you're gonna have to. I personally feel like people amalgamate these things into a sort of like package So let's just draw like a diamond or something, I guess. Yeah, so they amalgamate from all these different places, maybe just a few of them, but say it's just 4 of them. So many different places into this package, and they send it off to, say, Billy Bob Joe Schmo Schmuck. Billy Bob Joe Schmo Schmuck. This is Billy Bob Joe Schmo Schmuck. And, he's got, even more than that going on. He's got the full 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He's got 8 things, and he's got another layer on the outside of people sending him packages, sending him love, or, stresses, or, whatever is going on. He's got this whole list of things that he's dealing with on top of his 8. So you may have 8 big things, but he's got 8 things as well, and another layer on top of it, and you've just added to it. So he may not take that kindly, based on your past energy reciprocations, based on how the mannerisms and the style in which you sent your package to him. He may deal with that just by throwing it in the trash, just completely disregarding whatever you've said, or whatever you've carefully decided you would like to have from him, or whatever's going on. Maybe you just wanted to be kind and he didn't care enough. Maybe he thought it was like a petty gesture with ulterior motives, so he just threw it in the trash. Or, he sits there for like several hours, and he's processing and processing and processing all these different things, this whole list here. So he finishes off dealing with his lover, finishes off dealing with his bills, and finishes dealing with his stressed child, and now he's dealing with your package coming in, and he's already very tired, and he doesn't put much energy or effort into his reciprocation. So he finishes his list and gets to you and reciprocates it in a quarter like a manner, and you get this back, and you're like, man, I put so much love and effort and care and beauty and whatever into this thing that I sent this person, and it just got reciprocated. Well, 1, in the not very timely manner, and 2, the style and manner in which it was sent back was just kind of like crummy. So that seems to me to be the main predicament that we find ourselves in when we're dealing with a drainage of energy, because you just sent out your energy and received less than what you sent out back, or it was just disregarded and not sent back at all, which is certainly a possibility. Let's see. So with that said, the way to deal with psychic vampires is, 1, to recognize that it's happening, that your energy is not coming back to you in a preferable way, that the mutual reciprocity of the experience with the person was not there. It was unrequited. It was just an unhappy, unpleasant experience, and you feel down now. Your things are still growing. These and that can be kind of daunting for some people, and it may drain your energy. So yeah, it's a little bit complex, the way that this is set up, but you can never have your personal freedom and source energy cut from you by somebody else. It may feel like that, but it's never actually the case. And when it does feel like that, the way to handle it is to love yourself more. Make sure you're being healthy, drinking plenty of water, breathing, going outside, eating healthy and happy, tasty food, drawing, making videos, singing. There's a ton of things you can do to feel better, feel re-energized and rejuvenated. I find personally eating is really good for that. Okay, so now that that's said and done, I'm going to give you guys a psychoanalysis of the spectrum of mental disorder. Mental disorders of the psychic vampirism. So give me 1 second. Okay. So yeah, that was totally about 1 second, but for me it was more like a few minutes. Took a tea break, listened to some music, checked out on Facebook. Anyways, I'm getting sidetracked. So here we have the spectrum for psychic vampirism with 6 notches, because that's as much as I wrote. I didn't, put too much writing effort into it, but a lot of thinking. Anyways, so there's 6 check boxes that I have written for psychic vampires. I do mean that need in order to feel progression, or need in order to feel, like proper or okay or comfortable. So it's always need in order to. So that's important to note. So I'm gonna put the next 3 check boxes right here. Give me a second. Okay, so these next 3 are disregarding others, the well-being or feelings or, of others, and entitlement, so feeling entitled to what others have, or being entitled to their time, or being entitled to their space or presence or whatever, and fears, doubts, insecurities, worries, things of that nature. So, when you have 3 out of 6, then you are right here, and it's like 50% vampire. And this qualifies you as a gosh, I'm thirsty, do you have some water, psychic vampire. Now if you have 4 out of 6, that places you here, and with 4 out of 6 you are a my way or the highway, lonely road psychic vampire. Alright, now 5 out of 6, getting serious. Yeah, I'll drink your blood. How's your soul taste? that's 5 out of 6. And 6 out of 6. Screw everything, God, kill me now. And that is the different classes on the spectrum of psychic vampirism. So I'll describe briefly to you how these will look in terms of energy interplay between people. If you're someone that needs approval, you're going to start acting like a vacuum and utilizing your different spheres of focus to draw energy from the person that you're needing approval from. And when you do that, you'll soak up all the debris around you, and you may get a small sliver of their affection or their approval, or them, but you won't be very satisfied, and neither will they at the end of it. Now, needing attention is relatively similar to needing approval. I'm sorry, the first one I described was needing attention. The second one, needing approval, is relatively similar, but it's more needing approval. Okay, you're going to have to rethink this a little bit. Sorry. So I'll rephrase. Needing attention is where you act like a vacuum, and needing approval is where you try your hardest to send your energy to somebody or someplace where it isn't reciprocated, or isn't reciprocated to your preference, to a preferable degree, or it isn't mutual, or it's unrequited. So needing approval ends up with you feeling a lack of energy because you've sent out all these ghosts, and you have to muster up the time, focus, energy dynamic in order to revitalize yourself. So, and that may look like throwing a ball at a wall and expecting it to go through the wall, but it just kind of like falls to the ground. Okay, so needing control. Needing control is a little bit interesting. So needing control, you would be utilizing your focus energy points to try and manipulate and change the surroundings that you have and your circumstances. But it's really like a desperation type of thing. And when you utilize so many points of focus on control of one particular experience or feeling, you give power to that feeling and that experience, and you don't actually gain any mastery of anything preferable. You gain mastery of non-preference through that. So when you act from a space of needing control, then you're really hurting yourself a lot and hurting the people around you. If you encounter people acting like this, a lot of the times it's best to just acknowledge them. Acknowledge, yourself. Make sure that they know that you're there, and that you do care to the best degree that you are capable of at that particular moment. And so long as they know that, you're good to go. The other side of it, disregarding others, entitlement, and fears, doubts, and insecurities. So, I don't really have any visuals for these, but when you disregard others, then it would be, it's okay to do that for certain periods of time if you need to be alone to bring yourself back up to speed. Find personal ways to do that. That's fine, and try to have as many ways as possible to do that. I gave a short list earlier, but there's really like an infinite number of ways to bring yourself back up. Entitlement. If you feel entitled to other people's things or their energy, then you're kind of a douche. And sorry, I'm getting a little bit distracted. It's okay though. So if you're entitled to somebody, then they may not reciprocate that well. They almost certainly won't. If someone tries to be entitled to you, then again, acknowledge what's going on, understand. But you can't, give them all of yourself right now for very long, because you have a whole, shell worth of things to deal with. Anyways, fears, doubts, and insecurities. Man, if you have fears, doubts, and insecurities, well, it's kind of a pitiful state to be in. As Teal was mentioning, pity is something that psychic vampires need in order to feel a little better, I guess. So everybody experiences fears, doubts, and insecurities, at least to my knowledge. And when you have these experiences, then you should reach out. I think a lot of times when people feel this, they're afraid to be genuine and honest about what's going on and how they feel, and they may try to reach out and vent in ways that aren't as productive as just being straightforward about how they feel and how they're seeing their world, their perspective. If you encounter someone that is fearful or insecure, then you can treat them again with compassion and try to give them some love. Try to give them some of your energy. I would insist upon having them I don't know. Just personally, I would insist that they hear me out and try to inspire them, find different ways to inspire them. I don't know. If you don't have the time to do that, then just trust that that'll happen for them, and then it will when it needs to. I'm actually very happy with the state of the world and people that I've seen so far. I do understand that there's a lot of this fear and entitlement and disregard going on, and that's really unfortunate. But this is, to quote Daryl Ankar Bashar, this is a master class that we're living in here on this planet, and some of the classes here are pretty fucking pretty fucking masterful. So and to them, to the people experiencing things like that, I can only feel gratitude, because one step for any person is one step for everybody. All for one for all sort of a thing. Except it's not just the musketeers, it's every living thing, including trees and rocks and freaking squirrels and, even things that have passed, eons ago. Their actions, I must feel grateful for in order to have this experience right now with you today. So, thank you guys so much for listening, if you've actually gone the whole 21 minutes and 45 seconds counting. I wish you all well. Remember that serenity, joy, prosperity, bliss, what else? Abundance, fortune, those are the natural states of being. Just remember, don't forget that that's where we came from and that's where we're going to. So, have a wonderful time. Timing and placement.